were I to sign House Bill 68, or were House Bill 68 to become law, Ohio would be saying that the state, that the government knows better what is medically best for a child than the two people who love that child the most, the parents. Therefore, I cannot sign this bill as it is currently written.
And that's Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. He's a Republican. He's the latest political figure to now go woke after vetoing a bill that would have prevented children from undergoing mutilation and as well as taking life-altering hormones. This happening as trans athletes, like you see right there, Leah Thomas, dominating women's sports. We have a lot to discuss. Joining me now is the founder of the Walkaway campaign, Brandon Strock. Also with us, Turning Point USA contributor Lauren Chen, and back with us our special guest, Melanie Collette. Melanie, we were talking about it during the break. I can't help but wonder, this has something to do with the Cleveland Clinic, which treats hundreds, thousands of kids for gender dysphoria.
Certainly, and I think that's something that we need to look into, that somebody needs to look into and report on, because this decision makes no sense. Parents don't support this kind of legislation or the inaction that DeWine has taken here by vetoing this law. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Parents don't agree with it, and we don't allow. To his point, we don't allow, as a government, parents to abuse their kids. We step in and say, no, that's not good for that child. And this, to me, this is no different.
And Brandon, I was listening to what he was saying there. His rhetoric almost sounds like you could be almost 40 weeks pregnant, and since you know what's best for your child, you can kill it, if you want to. I just think do you think this is really, we're on the precipice of something really dangerous here, that we're not protecting our children?
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, it's a very nuanced issue, and I think that it's not the simplest thing in the world to discuss. But the problem is we seem to always err on the side of what we call progress, so-called progress. But this progress has actually led us to a point now where we have courts in this country who are taking children away from, if there's one parent who doesn't want to transition a child, another parent wants to transition a child, the courts are actually siding with the parent that wants to transition the child. We have people transitioning their children who seem to have Munchausen by proxy. So there's this really bad trend that's happening where we're kind of erring on the side of just transing kids if at the slightest notion that this might be a good idea for them. And not enough people, I think, are speaking up and saying, like, look, this probably is not the right decision for the vast majority of these children, but for some reason, there's this ongoing trend where the people who are pushing to transition children are winning on this issue. And that, to me, I think is the really disturbing side of it.
It really is disturbing. And Lauren, I mean, we've had kids that have issues like, say, anorexia, but you wouldn't go and get them plastic surgery, right? We wouldn't go and give the kid liposuction. Oftentimes, if a child presents itself as having some sort of gender dysphoria, there is an underlying issue here. So why aren't we focusing more so on that, trying to get more help for these children than simply saying, cut off this body part and go and inject yourself with this?
Well, I think the reason is, unfortunately, there is a huge activist lobby that is making it an ideological point to make transgenderism as widespread, mainstream, as acceptable. And not to mention, Big Pharma also has a lot of incentive here. You have another trans patient. That is a patient for life that will bring in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. You will find no bigger advocate for parental rights than me. But like was previously said, you do not have a right to abuse your child. And frankly, the more we find out about what happens when people take these hormones, especially from a young age, the more we are finding out that this is not the right thing to be doing to these children who, I mean, let's be real here, are not born in the wrong bodies. In fact, I would say it's child abuse to merely tell a child they were born in the wrong body when they're perfectly healthy otherwise. And to see a Republican governor actually siding with the people who want to sterilize children is frankly shameful. And it's something that we as a party, as conservatives, as right-wingers, as sane people need to call out.
Absolutely. We got to leave it right there. Brandon, Lauren, Melanie, you'll be back with us. Happy New Year to all of you. And thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Thank you.
Happy New Year, Lydia.